Buenas tardes y bienvenidos a todos. Good afternoon and welcome everyone. Welcome to a community that is dedicated to providing spiritual tools for living a happy and full life. My name is Karina Shear, and I'm the Spiritual Director and Founding Minister here at the Center for Spiritual Living Puerto Vallarta. Today is August 15th, 2020. And we will be continuing with our annual theme, which is 2020 Spiritual Vision. The topic for this month of August is inclusion in action. And the topic for this Saturday is colorblind or colorful. So we open each week with a spiritual practice called affirmative prayer, which is also known as spiritual mind treatment. It's a powerful tool and a practical tool that shifts our consciousness so that we are open and available to accept all the good that is already present into our life. It aligns our thoughts with all good. So let's move into intention with this week's service, as we do each week, with a reading from the Creative Thought magazine. I'll be reading from August 16th, 2014. Spiritual mind treatment is always done in the first person, so I invite you to close your eyes and take these words as your own, if you so choose. I am love made visible. God is pure, loving energy, divine wisdom, universal power, the cause of all there is. I know myself as the conduit through which the pure, loving energy of God is made visible. As this genuine love is the true essence of who and what I am, I now accept and love myself unconditionally, just the way I am. I allow myself to be not judgmental as I continue to grow into a more compassionate and lovable vehicle for God's love to be revealed. All patterns and hidden beliefs of rejection and unworthiness are totally dissolved from my consciousness, right here and right now. I am free. As a result, new patterns of love, based on wisdom and the belief that I am lovable, loving, and genuinely loved in return, are established in my consciousness. Starting now, all my relationships with family, friends, and others are based on a firm foundation of genuine love. I sing with joy that love brings us together to share this experience as connected, loving, and supportive threads in God's fabric of life. With sincere gratitude for the understanding that I am love made visible, this word is released to the law. It is well, and so it is. And that was offered by licensed practitioner Lynette V. Tucker from New York City, New York. So let's review our first purpose, vision, and mission statements, as we do each week. We have a grand purpose, and that is to awaken and celebrate diversity and to love and serve our community. And this is done through our vision, which is to educate and support each other so we can create the life we desire that works for us right now. And we do this by means of our mission, which is to provide spiritual tools for personal growth and transformation. So I'd like to welcome everyone today, whether it's your first time or if you are returning here to the Center for Spiritual Living Puerto Vallarta. Know that whatever path you are on, we honor all, and everyone is truly welcomed, and your presence is an honor to have. We teach a philosophy here at the center called the Science of Mind. It's a teaching based on new thought and ancient wisdom, and we offer spiritual tools and principles to promote personal growth. And we honor diversity in all aspects so that we can see and truly appreciate the great oneness that already exists everywhere and within everyone. When Dr. Ernest Holmes founded this teaching in the 1920s, he studied both Eastern and Western spiritual texts and philosophies to create the science of mind, which focuses on the individual use of thoughts and this powerful thing called the mind. So each week we offer a service with an inspirational message. And normally we would be doing this in a restaurant in downtown Puerto Vallarta, but we are still in a state of sheltering at home. So until we return back to a time where we can roam about freely and attend public places without the use of masks, I will be continuing to do these services from the comfort of my home via Zoom. So welcome to my home. We look forward to meeting again in person and enjoying an opportunity to share some thoughts and ideas and discussions afterwards, and to enjoy some homestyle Mexican cooking. So as we are at a point that we are able to attend to the restaurant again, any news on that will be posted both on the website and on Facebook. And I'll remind you as well the previous Saturday. So if you have any comments or questions, please, I invite you to either post them here, wherever you are seeing this, Facebook, website, YouTube, or send me an email, and that you can find on our website or a message through Facebook. So, colorblind or colorful. Can you imagine looking into a beautiful garden that has flowers with so many different colors, textures, heights, but not being able to see the variations in the color because you're colorblind? That's the way it is with people. If we would embrace the idea of color blindness, we don't see the other person's differences or the nuances that make them uniquely them. Though the idea of color blindness might be considered as an inclusive and noble one, imbued with positive intentions, the impact of color blindness is that you don't truly see the person for who they really are. Intent doesn't always consider impact. In this case, the impact of not being seen, felt, or heard, or distinguished from anyone else. Our different life experiences make us different from each other. The concept of color blindness excludes these differences. And continuing with that garden analogy, there would be only one type of flower in the garden without any variation in color. And that's what homogeneity is. We live in a world that is abundantly diverse, with each of us expressing the divine in our own colorful way. Ernest Holmes said this in his book, Lessons in Spiritual Mind Healing. So let me just share my screen with you. He said, our whole endeavor is to personalize the impersonal. That is, to individualize the creative spirit. When we cannot think of God as an infinite person, that is, as a being with any limitation whatsoever, we should think of the creative spirit as that infinite being in whom all personality is rooted. Thus, each is continuously individualizing God, and thus also each is individually using the law of cause and effect. This month we are focusing on inclusion in action. In the first week we discussed let's get together and feel all right. It's about recognizing diversity and examining our beliefs. Last week, we asked ourselves, who are we? Each of us is a unique and yet unified being at the same time. And this week, we're diving deeper into our uniqueness. Religious science teaches that each person is a unique expression of God, created with sacred worth. Living from that awareness has the potential to transform our lives and the world. Colorblindness is antithetical to this idea. It's the antithesis. In 1952, during the Beverly Hills lectures, Dr. Ernest Holmes said, "Unity and uniformity are not the same. No two blades of grass are alike." And what does this mean spiritually? We have nothing to disprove and everything to prove that this individualization of the spirit in each one of us, rooted in common soil, having the characteristics and potentialities of its common background, contains what the ancients called the microcosm. We have every reason to suppose that there is, back and within and around every individual, the divine representation of himself as the Son of God, forever expanding. So let's look into this a little deeper with 3 key points today. Oneness is not sameness. And we'll look a little deeper at using the garden as a metaphor for diversity, inclusion, and oneness. And finally, we'll look at seeing our connection with all people. If diversity, discourse, and efforts at inclusion do not include a serious and open discussion of colorblindness, including the many ways that those realities intersect, ambivalence will exist. Colorblind ideologies are problematic because they specifically ignore our uniqueness and the experiences that make us different. Colorblindness is valuing diversity in the abstract. Some might even refer to it as a spiritual bypass. It's easy and requires no effort on our part to get to know people as individuals and to treat them the way that they wish to be treated. Some differences make a difference to certain people, and pretending that they don't exist denies us of what makes us that distinct expression of the creative spirit that we truly are. Unity is oneness, not sameness. Unless we really understand the differences between us, we'll never develop oneness. We'll only keep drifting toward people like ourselves, towards sameness. Sameness is a pale imitation of spiritual oneness. John Trapp says this: "Unity without verity is no better than conspiracy." So let's look at the garden as a metaphor again for diversity, inclusion, and oneness. The metaphor of a garden might better explain colorblindness regarding diversity, inclusion, and oneness. So just for a moment, imagine a garden containing various vegetation, fruits, vegetables, flowers, foliage, trees. All vegetation needs a favorable environment to nourish. They need a suitable pH balance, a healthy level of aeration, and sufficient nutrients. While all plants need sun, shade, nutrients, soil, water, and sufficient care, different plants require different mixtures of these elements in order to survive and thrive. Some need more shade, while others need more sun. Some need more moist soil, but others depend on a drier soil. So let me explain this in a little more personal way for me. I recently had my hair cut and colored. I was going gray, or rather, my red hair had faded to white or to shades of blonde. I like to refer to it as Arctic blonde. But I felt washed out and invisible, so to speak. I wanted to be a vibrant redhead, like I've always been. So I asked my hairdresser to add just a little bit of strawberry blonde. Instead, he added auburn. Still a shade of red, but different. When I expressed that I thought it was too dark, he said, "It's okay, you still look blonde." But I want to stand out. I want to be unique, not blend in. I want it to be my unique strawberry blonde. What I heard was that color didn't matter, that my hair looked great no matter what color it was. This too is another form of being colorblind. When I was growing up, I was different. I was the only redhead in my class, the only one with freckles, and I was teased and called names. I was bullied and I was excluded from groups. But as a redhead, I wasn't excluded from obtaining an education, or buying a car, or buying a house, or told where I could or couldn't live. Nor was I denied employment, or the right to vote, or for driving my car and being pulled over by the police at gunpoint because of the color of my hair. Yes, color matters. And yes, we are all unique. And that should be celebrated and not mistreated as a result of. Nature shows us the diverse forms and expressions of the common life. Science admits the diversity and seeks to recognize that one great principle, that life that lies within all forms. The diversity lies in the expression of our human spheres. The sameness lies in the source, for all things are of God. This is the same for people. While one subset of inclusive behaviors will work with one person, another may respond more positively to another set. People, although we are all the same, biologically speaking, we have different needs, different interests, life experiences, and circumstances. Treating all people the same dishonors those differences. Treating people equitably means that we meet them where they are, and it demonstrates our appreciation and value of the beauty and the beautiful, unique flower that each one of us is. Our very differences may serve as the catalyst or conduit through which authentic relationships are formed. We may find that our differences enhance our connection, which is not to say that we don't have numerous commonalities, which can also deepen the intimacy between us. Ernest Holmes said this: "We are this universal presence as a person. We are a point where it recognizes itself as person. We are its personality in individualism." And that again was from the lessons in Spiritual Mind Healing. And that brings us to our final point, which is that we are connected with those that are different. It's a common theme in our world today that if someone doesn't believe or think or even look like we do, they could not possibly be connected to us. We assume separation. People who disagree draw lines in the sand rather than hearing out the other's argument or point of view. People with differing worldviews never share a coffee, a glass of wine, or a lunch together because there's so much difference, or so it seems. Even those who hang out or befriend another, someone of a different religion, political stance, or philosophical view, are told that they're watering down their own beliefs and stances. It seems that all too often we think that we have to be exactly the same, colorblind, or we cannot be together at all. But I'm imploring you not to believe this. We must start to get along as humans and cohabitants of this planet. Or as I like to say, we need to learn to play nicely together in the sandbox. If we are really interested in instilling oneness, we need to be with people who are different from us in order to experience a loving, unified relationship with the divine. Love pushes us to widen our circle of inclusion and to reach out to others who are different from us. And we shouldn't assume that we will all think, believe, pray, sing, dress, talk, or even behave exactly like us. In fact, we're challenged to embrace the differences, the disagreements, and the uniqueness. Why? Because in that kind of inclusive, diverse, and authentic way, we get a glimpse of what oneness truly is. So let's get together and be all right. Our affirmation for today: the nature of God's great creation is one of diversity. I am not colorblind. I see the colorful, wonderful, and mystical variances that are expressed uniquely as each of us. So now it's our time for offertory. So if you were moved by today's talk, then I ask that you please give generously from your heart. To have that inclusivity, to have that reciprocal experience of giving and receiving and giving. So donations would be gratefully received to our PayPal on our website, www.cslpv.org. And as you are heading towards this website and clicking on that PayPal button, I ask that you repeat after me our affirmations. I know that my giving blesses and multiplies all that I am and all that I have, and all that I give and receive. And together we say, I do give eternal thanks for the abundance that is mine to share. So thank you again for being here today, and thank you for your generous offering of your offertory. Please know that you are loved, you are honored, no matter who you are, where you are. It matters that you are. Blessings.